Hello, everybody out there. God bless you out there in Radio Land. This is Barry Karen once again on the radio. Thank God for the opportunity to come to you just to bring you just a little something. This is a test just to see basically how it comes out. We're just doing a test run to give my wife an idea of how that we can do this together. And also, this is a kind of a sound check to make sure all our levels and everything are good. So, but we're are going to talk about something. We're not going to just sit here and just say 1, 2, 3 and 3, 2, 1. But we're going to talk about some things. There's some interesting. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And that's my wife, y'all. For those that don't know us, like I said, we're under a new label. We're under a new ministry label, and that from the previous one, if anyone has recognized my voice from any other things, we were under Desperate Victory Radio back in the day, last year, beginning of last year. Had to shut that particular broadcast down due to circumstances really beyond our control. Some of it was under our control and some of it wasn't. We had to revamp everything, and we had to get a new vision. We had to take some time off and get ourselves in the place where we knew where God had us to be. And we knew that God was trying to deal with us in the areas of marriage. Our podcast basically going to consist of two different things. We're going to have a podcast based on marriage. We're going to do a marriage podcast, and we're going to do one on our Periscope and our Facebook and different areas where we're going to put it. Also, we have a general, just the one like I had before, basically just a current affairs kind of thing called Dare to Be Different. We're going to deal with how to be different in this type of different world. Because being different now is not the same as being different as what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about being different as it pertains to living for Christ, and how that you can be able to live for Christ in a Christless world, in a time where people are deciding to not serve God, not live for God. We're going to talk about how you could be able to do that. So again, my name's Barry Craig, and this is my wife Karen. Say hello, Karen, to everyone.
Hello. I'm Karen Craig.
Ain't gonna get much out of it right now. But I wanted to get familiar with how we do it. So, and like I said, my wife, she's not a person to just do a whole lot of talking on the mic, because she thinks that really other people listen to her, but we actually talking to each other. But we did run across a good thing as far as our marriage. So, episode number 1, Embracing Marriage. This is our first episode of our podcast of Embracing Marriage. And we are Barry and Karen Craig. We've been married coming up 20 years. We've had ups and downs. We had good and bad. We've had ugly and pretty. But we've been through, and we stayed together, and God has blessed us to be together. And He put us together, and we realized that. So we learned to embrace our marriage, to be in covenant with each other. So therefore, that's what the name Embrace came from. It's for us to be in covenant with one another and just embracing the things that are in our marriage. But we have an article that we ran across. This relates to us. Because like I said, we're going to get a chance to have one particular thing where if we tell you our story, it would have to be in segments. We couldn't just tell you in one sitting our story, what we dealt with and how we came to this point where we are now. But we will share with you our story. And like I said, we've been in ministry together for a long time. My wife, I met her in the ministry that we were in previously. She had been there already 15 years. No, how long you was in that ministry?
Oh, before we met,
Yeah.
maybe let's see, I was 1991. We met in 98.
Yeah. So you only been there maybe about, hold on, I'm gonna put you up a little bit. Maybe about a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah, well, I got there in about 98. I think the ministry had transitioned to the city where we are now at 96, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got there in 98. So I'd been there. We had been there. She had been there longer. She was one of the founding members of the ministry, actually. And I had been there at least 15 years. I went through the ranks. I started off, she started off as she was like an armor bearer slash attendant. They call them nurses. So they basically, yeah, they was personal nurse. She started off as that. And I started off as, I guess, just, I was just in praise team at first. I came to church on the praise team. And I think I took over teaching the Sunday school. I was a Sunday school teacher. And then I ended up being Sunday school superintendent after the previous one left. And God at church replaced her, and I ended up taking her place. I stayed superintendent for until I became pastor of the church. So then I went from being that to elder, and went from that being elder and some other stuff I think I did. I was prophet, I was elder.
Choir director, praise and worship leader.
Yeah. Yeah, I was praise and worship leader. I ended up being over the praise team after that. I was over the choir at that. And then we had a choir when I was over that. No, I wasn't over that choir.
No, you was just praise and worship.
I was praise and worship. I was more like a consultant. Because I tell you, I think at the time I didn't want to be in a choir because I was over a choir at the previous church I was at, and Dad, I was founding ministry, Apostle Kenneth August. He was like, I ain't gonna make you no praise, but I ended up being in praise because I could sing and I could worship and do whatever. So he let me do that, and I was also the person. I was over the ministers. And I turned that down. I think I was ended up being assistant pastor. And I was associate pastor and assistant pastor. A design assistant pastor. Then I became associate pastor, and then I stayed assistant for a while, and then I ended up being senior pastor of the church when he had placed church. So we stayed there for maybe a few months after that, and God started dealing with us about doing something different, and so we moved from there. Transition, he released us, and we went back and got released properly, and so we ended up starting a ministry along with my brother, and then we basically disbanded because God wasn't really ready for us to start at that time doing it, because I noticed that, and she did too, we noticed that the vision was trying to shift a different direction. It started to go to more into the realm of marriage because we knew that God had put us together for that very, very reason. So we started just go in that direction, started to listen to different things. And basically, when we went through trouble in our marriage, we actually became students of our marriage. And so that's what ended up getting us to this point today. But right now, we're members of a multicultural church out here in the city of Beaumont, Texas, Cathedral in Hines, where it's known Cathedral Church. You can go to icathedral.org and check out our wonderful pastors, Pastor Randy and Suzanne Felshaw. They wonderful folk. Check them out. We're there. We are part of that ministry, and so we're not like on staff, but we're just we do whatever we need done. So we're there to be servants. So, but most of the time we just go and worship there, and we can get back into it. We really have been out for a minute. So, like I say,
serve on the prayer.
Yeah, we've served in the prayer team. Yeah, we're worked the altar. So yeah, we knew how to do that. We ain't know how to do nothing else. We know how to work that altar. Maybe not like they do it, but we work the altar like we See, you have to understand where we come from. We come from a holiness church. A holiness church. See, we're in a church the Assembly of God, and believe me, they believe in the Holy Ghost and praying for folk and speaking in tongues and all that. They do. But We come from one of them kind of yell at the devil and make him hawk and spit and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
We you
Come
know
out,
yeah,
devil.
come out devil kind of yeah. We come, that's the kind of ministry we were taught that by our founding ministers. So we know how to cast a demon out, even though sometimes we get full of the devil and cast him out of us. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. Um, we're gonna do a lesson on that. We're gonna talk about the watchman in marriage, especially I'm gonna do the marriage one and watchman and king's anointing, and I'm gonna do a lesson on that because we talked about that. But anyway, I don't want to burn too much time. I want to do some of this article. We're not gonna do all of it, but babe, we're gonna do some of it. We noticed that we was talking about keeping. Well, let me say this first. The article is based uh, was written by this lady named. Let me find the author. I got to acknowledge the author because I don't want nobody to hit me with copyright problem stuff. Where's her name? Well, I know her first name is Lori and all that. The name of the article is Marriage Gems, Research-Based Marriage Tips and Insights. And the lady's first name is Lori, but I'm trying to find her actual name uh, in the article. Um, she wrote an article, and the name of Lori Lowe. Dang, I never find it. Lori Lowe. And Lori Lowe wrote this article in this particular thing called How to Keep a Daily Connection in Your Marriage. And one of the things it was talking about is drifting apart, because we always talk about drifting apart, or what was the other term that we said earlier?
Are we grown apart?
Grown apart, yeah, because that's kind of how it happens. There's a guy that we listened to his song. What's the name of that guy? He wrote Matthew Carney. That's his name. He wrote a song called "Ships in the Night," and it's funny though that song. I wish I could find that song, but and play it, but I can't because, like I say, a lot of stuff you can't do. But in the song, he was talking about how that they like ships in the night. We keep passing me by, wasting time trying to prove who's right. And that's kind of how some of the stuff was happening with us. And we learned this stuff, that this happens. So it says in this article, she has said, one of the most common reasons given for marriage failures is that spouses drift apart. The truth is drifting comes very naturally. As William Daugherty described in his book, Take Back Your Marriage, marriage is like launching a canoe in the Mississippi River at St. Paul. If you don't paddle, it goes south, and if two people are in the canoe, you have to both paddle. And so it said, he goes on to say, as you're floating along, chances are one of you will become concerned about marital drift, he explains. One of you may comment on fewer long talks, less quality time together, or less sex. For some couples, these complaints are a call to start paddling more vigorously. For other couples, the complaints lead to unpleasant arguments that lead to greater distance. And yeah, that happens.
Yes.
Because you can either do one or two things. You can either pedal together to get back upstream, or you can just let it keep going and y'all drift further away from the shore. Because it doesn't take much momentum for you to drift apart. You don't have to do anything for that to happen. You just have to stop trying. And so when we are inspired to try harder, it says here in the article, the extra work in our marriage tends to be short-lived, sustained for days or weeks at best, and then we resume our slow drifts out. And that's kind of how it is. You have good days, and just to kind of give you a snapshot, basically, it was kind of like with us. We went through a period where we were having good days, where we were pedaling pretty good together, and then all of a sudden we just stopped, and then we drifted back into our normal, routine of, it was like every so often it was like a pattern. We would drift and come together and we'd drift. Come together, we'd drift. It was back and forth. So it was kind of like that. And so that's what he was saying. So he got a number of, like 10 things. 10 different things that you can do to keep from your marriage from drifting. You say to keep your marriage from drifting, make time for it, give sustained effort. Remember, if you're not paddling, you're going south. Ask yourself these questions. So these are questions that you should ask yourself to know if you are drifting. Are you spending time together? That's the first thing. Saying, are you going to church together, having meals together, talk together? Do you make time for regular dates? It could be a morning walk or a late date, not just an evening out. You don't have to spend all your time together, as long as you're spending some dedicated time and activities that you enjoy with one another. What was the biggest thing that What was the biggest thing, babe, you think that made a difference in us once we?
Realized that we were drifting apart.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I would say that I have to start off with saying what caused us to drift apart
yeah.
was I had got to the point where I just didn't care anymore.
Hmm.
So, and I guess when I came to the point where, okay, you need to care about your marriage.
Hmm.
And so that's when we started our date night, started dating and
Yeah,
going places, doing things together. And it kind of helped out a lot.
yeah.
And we showing some concern, you know, brought us back together.
Yeah.
And
Was that? Oh, go ahead.
and I guess emotionally, uh, we drifted, and I guess I didn't even care about your emotions. I didn't care about your feelings. And the biggest thing was to get my mind off myself.
Yeah,
Stop thinking about me all the time and uh, my needs, my wants, my desires.
yeah,
And I think when I got my mind off myself and started focusing more on you, it helped out a lot.
yeah. Because that goes on. Like goes away. Say, do we? Now here's the crazy part about it. That I noticed that when everything was going okay, we we did go on our dates and we took spend time together and this and this and that. But see, let me kind of give you an idea of what kind of life that we were in as far as schedule. I was working. I work a job. I work security. We work at the same place. She works at a different department than I do, and she works mornings. She works early mornings to afternoons, and I worked at afternoons to nights. So the time that we saw each other, because I she would be at work in the day, and I'll be here until I go to work, and I pick her up, drop her off, and I go to work, and I come back and she sleep. So it was only 4 days out of the month
Yeah.
that we saw each other at a whole 24-hour period. And so when we really honestly did not see each other enough to even have a relationship.
Work out nothing.
Yeah. And so we were having issues with in our marriage, and we didn't even have time to even work it out because we never saw each other. So it brought about a lot of enemies, brought a lot of suspicion in our hearts, and a lot of fears and insecurities. I mean, it was rough. It was rough for us because we really couldn't. We wanted to do it. When we did want to finally do it, it was just a factor, and I had to make some serious critical changes myself. I had to change my schedule. I had to take a pay cut, which didn't matter to me because at that point I just wanted to just be with her, and I wanted to be around her and wanted to do things with her like I was before. And you had to understand, we had been around each other all our marriage. And some people be like, I can't be around nobody like that all the time. But you know what? That's because you want to go out there and do your dirt.
Yes, exactly.
I understand now I'm gonna look at it from this perspective also too. I understand you want your space and you around them, and you sometimes you just because I know, so I talk to a lot of older people, especially in their 60s and 70s. They've been around these spouses for 30, 40, 50 years. They be like, I'll be glad when he goes somewhere, because they've been around each other.
Because they don't enjoy one another's
Yeah,
company.
yeah. They get to the point where they just don't like each other, and they be glad when each other gone. So work for them is vacation.
Yeah, in our case, it wasn't like that. We enjoyed being around each other. It was like strange for us not to be around each other.
That's right.
So
yeah, it was hard. It was hard for us too, and so, but what we ended up doing, is we say, well, at least the time we had together, we won't let it be absorbed. But then the time we had together, we argued, and that didn't make it any better. So we drifted real bad. Yeah, we were drifting. We went south
Fast.
in a speedboat.
4 days together, and we argued the 4 days.
The 4 days we were together.
I was like,
now you asked me what kind of sense that made. Yeah. So when
trying to get the marriage together, and it looked like we wasn't making no progress. We were like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off okay,
yeah,
and then somebody would say something, and emotions would get up.
Mm-hmm.
Would just be on the uprise, and then I'm like, okay.
She jump out of the chair, I'd get silent, or something happened, or we would stand up and argue, and we just, I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was just like we just did our emotions to just get the best of us.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't handle that well at all.
No. We was in our feelings the whole time.
And I was looking at him like he was the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't my husband, you my enemy.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I had to stop doing also, was stop viewing him as my enemy and start viewing you as my husband.
Yeah.
And listen to you, you know, as though you were my husband and not some enemy out to get me.
Yeah.
So I think when I changed that, it kind of helped a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the mindset that you, and I want to share this. That's the mindset you have to get into. You have to change your perspective. And I remember when I was talking, and it was during our time, and I told her, I said, perceive truth is believe truth. And I'm gonna say this to you because if whatever you perceive is what you believe. Because if you perceive that person that you're with for all these years is your enemy, guess what? You're going to believe that they're going to be. And you treat an enemy based on how you believe he is going to treat you.
Yeah.
And that's why Jesus says that as you would have men do unto you, do unto them likewise. He did not say, get them like they get you.
I told him many letters, mad and angry and upset, and because he I felt like he didn't show no concern, no consideration how I was feeling.
Yeah. And
I would write a letter long telling him I was mad, I'm upset, and you gonna pay, and this is payback. And I'm gonna make you cry, and I'm gonna make you suffer. Man. And it was like,
if we read some of that crazy stuff we were telling you, y'all be like, something wrong with y'all. Y'all need counseling, which we did. Listen, this goes to what we just saying.
So we knew we drifted apart.
Yeah, we did. We speedboated down the south instead of
I
just.
I think we was in two different boats.
We sure was, yeah. Sure was. Check this out. It says here, are you taking your partner for granted? That was the biggest thing. Are you taking them for granted? And I think that's what it was, because he said work is important, kids are important, chores are to be done, have to be done, and on and on. But if you aren't making time for your partner, they won't feel appreciated. So we were taking granted of each other. And then another one, that's number 2. But 3 was the one that was killing us right here. This one right here. Are you absorbing TV, internet, and or your phone?
Yes. All the above.
Yeah, all the above. Especially in the bedroom, it can't come between you. All the research confirms that TV should be left out of bedrooms. Take your iPod and computer out while you're at it. If you can't do it, that proves my point.
So, we had all the above. His was the game.
Mine was game.
And mine was the phone and scrolling Facebook. And I had to know what was going on Facebook, what they were saying. He would be on the games.
Yeah. And we had that basically separate world, but we didn't realize that and I had to share that with her because I would say that I'm an extreme gamer. I'm an avid gamer. I would just game because basically I just fill in time because I was trying to keep from doing other stuff. But the thing, I gamed a lot. And so I did game, and so I burned that time. So when she was getting Facebook, I would stop, and then she would just still be at it. I was like, well, let me just continue gaming. I didn't have enough sense to say, you know what, babe, let's put the phone out. Let's cut the game off. Let's talk. And no, I don't want to keep on pushing the pedals, now.
I wanted him to get off the game and wanted to talk and us to interact. And I'm like, well, he's still on the games, and I'm just sick of him with these games, and I start to despise the
Yeah,
games.
so I despise it. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is some, putting this before me.
Hmm. And it's funny though because we studied on love languages, and that was one of the things he said in that is that and then the guy was counseling, he told me, he said whenever you say that his wife didn't help him in his career because he had a real good career, so he didn't support him in his career. Say she always would talk bad about it, talking about how he wasn't there and this and that. You say, well, you have to realize she despised it because you put it before her. And that's what I was doing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was doing it. I was thinking because I was unwinding, which I had plenty of time. It didn't take me that long to unwind, not no hours. I mean, I can game for hours and not even move from that spot. My wife said, I don't see how you can do that. I said, well, I do get up and go to the bathroom and eat, but but I can't see it because I was like on my off days, like only one day out the off day, I'd actually do this. I do it Fridays because Fridays basically, I'm just, it's a free day for me, Fridays. I would get up after I drop her off. I would get up and I'll stay up and I would game from the time that I dropped off to the time I pick up. That's an 8 hour stint. Now, with the exception of going to the bathroom and eating, I sit down for basically 6-7 hours, And I can do that because I'm used to doing. I've done a 12-hour stint on the game. I think when I first got the Xbox, it was Halo.
Yeah.
And you went with. See, my wife used to run with our oldest grandchild's godmother. And it was real close.
And I was doing a lot for the church at the time.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that time.
Yeah. And at least she never wondered I was. I was right there in front of the Xbox. So I sat there and played Halo. It was the first one, I think, and I think it was the first one, the first or second one. And I did the campaign. The campaign straight is 12 hours straight. It's a straight campaign. If you do it just normal, it's a 12-hour campaign. It's meant to be done in days, not hours. And I did that thing in 12 hours, did the whole campaign. She was gone. She had left that morning and came back that night the same time she left. And I was just getting through. So I had moved from that spot. So I can do that, but I'm older now, so I don't sit as long because, butt hurt, legs get numb. And I got a good chair, but still I can't sit that long. But the fact is that the whole point of it is that we put a lot of that ahead of us in our relationship when we didn't say, okay, it's a cutoff time. Right. Let's stop and let's just do something different. Let's go on because we're running into about 30 minutes. Okay. So he's saying, what are you focused Are you focused on what you're getting out of your marriage? This consumer mentality can lead to problems. Are you concerned about what you're getting out of it? Some people in marriages for different reasons. So what are you getting out of this marriage is what a lot of people get concerned. See, then it says, number 5, it says, do the people you spend time around support your marriage and family? Outside influences can contribute to drifting. This includes people who are more focused on your happiness than your marriage. You don't have to stay in that marriage. If I was you, I'd leave him. Or, man, you don't have to put up with that. Man, I got a divorce lawyer. You want to leave that girl? You can leave her right now. You don't need people like that in your life.
Stay away.
Yes, the Bible says that run from a person if they don't have the lips of knowledge. Get away from them. That's what it tells you to do. Get around from them people. Number 6, are you focused on material things rather than relationships? The best things in life are free, but you can lose them by focusing on things instead of people. Boy, that's a good word right there. It's number 7. Are you making an effort to be kind to your spouse when he or she calls, or make purchase of food or beverage they enjoy, or offer other gestures of kindness? If you want to have a marriage, be generous. It's an article he has too. It says, do you help make their life easier, not because you expect them to return the favor, but because you want them to be happy. To give you an example, my wife, when I was working evenings, work days, my wife, she works in housekeeping, so the last thing that my wife wants to do is come home and clean.
I clean for a living.
Yeah, she clean for a living. She clean from sunup till whenever she get off. So, she, last thing she wants to do. And I thought about that. I say, well, the least I could do to make sure she's happy, to make sure she come home to a clean house, come home to dishes that are washed, come home to sometimes I run a water. If I don't get rushed, I run a water for her, so she won't have to do that because a lot of times she'll jump in and out, go take care of stuff, and I don't want to be hindered, so she'll take a bath and she'll go and do whatever she needs to do. And so I make sure that when she comes home, she don't have to do it again. Because it would be wrong for me to be here all that time. And then she come home, she got to clean the house after I leave. Oh, bye, babe. That's stupid. So I'm making every effort to make sure that she's happy. And she does the same when I come home. She makes sure the environment is a safe environment. She makes sure it's peaceful, during that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few times he would come home and it would be a quiet, peaceful atmosphere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything. I would be quiet.
Yeah.
And
Even
calm.
during that time. Yeah.
I would make sure, you would come home to that.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. Wise, if you have a husband that works real rough jobs and deals with a lot of people, especially me, I deal with a lot of people. For him to come home and to have a quiet, safe environment, just you, because the only person he gonna want to talk to is you. He ain't gonna want to deal with nobody else. Don't have your girlfriends over there. They hanging up in your house, and he come home. He done worked hard. He see you and 5 other women up in there, and y'all talking and cackling. His dinner ain't cooked, and his house is filthy, and he looking at you and looking at them and looking at you. That's.
And that would be, the time I would give you to unwind.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't say, we come home and kiss, hey babe, and
Yeah.
how you doing? Fine. How your day went? Fine. And after that, I would just go solid and just let him unwind and clear his head. I wouldn't bombard you with my bad day and all this craziness that goes on during the day. I would just give you that time just to rest.
Yeah, and that's something that we gonna teach on and talking about how you create a safe environment for your spouse.
I call it a quiet, peaceful act.
Yeah, that's it. She do that. She did that during our craziness. She did that, so she's good at that, and that's what I love about her. 8, we almost done. 8, are you showing affection toward one another? Are you happy to see each other? Do you touch, kiss, and enjoy sex together? Yeah, we have no problem with those areas. See, number 9, are you dedicating all your time to your children? Parents need to determine how much time children need. Now, our children are grown, so this really don't apply to us, but we got grandkids, so we try to do as much time with them as possible, especially now since they're getting older, because they getting hard-headed, so we got to. So keep in mind the two children also need stability of the family and the marriage. He actually got an article too that we're going to talk about later. Say, read more about this. Check out Putting Kids First Harms Families. Let me say something about that. If you were single, my wife met me. She was single. She wasn't married previously. Neither one of us were. She had kids already. I don't have any kids, so we're a blended family. And her children, that's our children. So they're considered, that's my daughters and my son. We have 5 kids, 4 girls, 1 boy. And they're all my kids, my sons and my daughters, my grandkids, great-grandchild. We got 1 great-grandchild. And somebody told her this, and it's good advice, and I'm going to tell you this. If you're a single mother and you have kids and you got a guy that comes into your life and you marry him and he's not the daddy and this kind of thing, don't put those kids before your marriage. Don't do it. Because if you put them before him, he's going to feel like he's not necessary. You're going to make him, and then I've seen some treat the guy like the kids.
Right.
He makes them like the seed. If they got 4 kids, he's the 5th one because she got to take care of him and them. Mm-hmm. So if he's not the man that he should be, then you need to make sure that he becomes that you honor him as your husband. You make them honor him as your husband. That's my husband. You cannot run in my room anytime you want.
That's true.
You can't walk in my room anytime you want. You can't walk, and I had to deal with this. You can't run out your bathroom naked no more. You can't do that because I deal with that.
You have to set some boundaries.
Yeah, you have to set boundaries. And so once you do that, then they have to understand that this is a different relationship, and you can't just do the way you did it before. And so don't ever do that because you're gonna make it hard on yourself. Last one, number 10, are you sharing your true self with your partner? Your hopes, dreams, desires, and fears. We still working on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got through talking about something like that earlier. Just got through with it before we did this podcast. Because she actually said, well, you want to do your podcast? And then something came up and we had to deal with it. But you know what? We dealt with it so nice. And so this is something that we really have to work on is showing our true selves. And so that's something we're gonna probably go through these 10. I'm gonna keep this article and we're gonna work these different things during our podcast. So I'm gonna probably start with the first one, spending time together. So we're gonna do a series on these different things of how not to drift apart. All right. Well, babe, it's been good.
It's been great. And I would like to just end this on a positive note.
Go ahead.
You did mention, how you wash the dishes, and I want to tell you thank you
Mm-hmm.
for washing the dishes, and I would also like to tell you how much I appreciate you for running the bath water. And I didn't know he polished my toenails.
Oh yeah, I do all that.
So for all the little small things that you do, it does matter. It matters a lot, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you, how much I love you, and how much I value you.
Wow.
And like I always tell you that you are my love.
Oh man. Well, I love you too, baby. I appreciate all you do because I found out how hard she works. I found out that real quick. So she does, and I appreciate everything you do for me, baby. The little stuff, how you fix everything, and take care of everything. And I just thank God for you. And I want you out there to realize that you do have, no matter how bad your situation is, it can turn around. You can embrace one another again. You can embrace your marriage. You can embrace God, and you can embrace a greater future. So we're going to end this, and we're going to let you know that we're here for you. We're praying for you. We love you, and this is Embrace Marriage with Karen, Barry, and Karen. And we thank God for you. And we're going to see you on the next time. God bless you.